What's going on, everybody? Dash Michaels here, and welcome to another episode of Shorts and Hoodies podcast. I'm Dash Michaels right here because I'm gonna do this correct this time. This is Stephanie. How we doing today?
Hello, boys. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. And right here, this is Sir Jared. Jared, how we doing?
I'm doing good. I got attacked today by Helios, but we're good.
Awesome.
Yeah, he was super excited when I went on break, and he flew straight at me, which was pretty awesome.
Okay.
I've never had that happen before. It was scary. I understand why people get scared now.
I
There's a whole
literally just
movie
thought
about
you
it.
said, I understand why people get scared.
Yeah.
I
I never understood why they get scared because I hear his big ass flapping around at me because he's 21 years old and he's not the best flyer, and so I know it's coming, but when I see him just jump at me and then I hear him and he's like coming at my face, I understand why people are scared now. I understand fear.
You finally understood fear.
I get it.
Late age.
All right, before we get started, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to get all the know of when all of our videos are dropping, whether it be a podcast, whether it be a reaction or a review. You will be in the loop. Today is a much anticipated day. I am so excited to say it is a Spider-Man day. Spider-Man No Way Home is officially out and about in theaters.
Buddy's watching it right now.
Yeah. And before we get started, children, please mute your audio for at least 5 seconds. A big fuck you to each and every one of you YouTubers out there and journalists that have leaked this shit.
Mm-hmm. Big middle fingers in the air.
Yes.
For your thumbnails that are actual spoilers.
Gosh.
Screw you. And to every reviewer that wants to say it's too much geek culture that we love Spider-Man, and also a big fuck you to you too.
Yeah.
Geek culture is here to stay.
But on a positive note,
Yes.
I've been waiting for this episode. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
before it was going to be a podcast, before it even had a YouTube channel for this show, because I've been waiting on this since the first rumors started and the plot and all that stuff started leaking out about No Way Home. But it's finally here. Of course, we're recording the day before it comes out, so we don't know anything for sure.
So we're not going to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil it. I have my tickets for Saturday evening, and I cannot wait. Do y'all have tickets yet?
I think we're going to go on Saturday.
You're going on Saturday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Me and the Hubs. I convinced him to go, even though it's still Omicron. We're still going to the theater. I'm like, I have to see it. It's for work.
I'm going.
That's a good excuse.
I'm going with 7 masks on. I don't care.
Do a full
I'm doing
hazmat.
we got
death
the
mask.
IMAX, and what is it like? They bring the food to you and all that stuff.
Ooh.
I've never
that's
been to
pretty
IMAX.
bougie.
I've never been to IMAX theater, so I'm super stoked that 1, I'm going to IMAX theater, but 2, I'm going to be able to see Spider-Man No Way Home with a big ass screen and be able to have some food right there and everything and grub
That's pretty
out.
cool.
You guys want to talk about hazmat suits?
Yeah, my husband has one of those. Yep, that's his painting mask. You wear one of those and then see how many cops follow you on the way out.
Oh, I mean, that would be fantastic. I'd love to have the police follow me. They already do that enough.
Oh no. This mysterious life of Jared gets revealed like little bits by bits every episode.
Well,
Fun thing was
do I?
Oh, I was gonna say the fun thing. I was a cop in the military, so I kind of backed the badge a little bit. Even so, I think it's just dumb. it's just funny.
Following you.
Yeah, I'm like, why the fuck? Come on, man. Seriously, it's not that bad.
You're one of the good guys.
Mm-mm,
Speaking of good guys, let's talk about Spider-Man.
Well, today's episode usually we will do our top 10 movies. I mean, there really hasn't been 10 Spider-Man,
Not yet.
big movies in this episode. Yeah, not yet. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are doing our top 10 Spider-Man related characters. This can cross over from comics, TV, graphic novels to movies. It doesn't matter if we're talking Raimiverse, Webverse, or the MCU. So that's what we're going to be breaking down. But before we get to that, I'm interested. What are you excited to possibly see in No Way Home?
No Way Home.
And he has no way home. He's gonna be. Does that mean he's gonna be in another dimension? Is he gonna go off to another? Are we gonna see Venom?
It would be.
I kind of just want to finish Hawkeye. To be completely honest with
you.
Well,
let's talk about this real quick too. Are y'all caught up with Hawkeye?
I am caught up with Hawkeye.
Caught up with Hawkeye. All right.
Love
so if you're not caught up with Hawkeye,
3, 2, 1.
Check the timestamps here, because we're getting ready to spoil some shit. So.
And go.
What was your feeling at the end of episode 5?
I love the subtle hit.
Finally saw him. Kingpin. Yes.
I mean, did you see the name of the car lot that they're part of?
Oh yeah, Fat Man Auto.
Fat Man Auto.
Yeah. As soon as it was like Fat Man, I was like, God damn it.
We got that in like episode 2.
Yeah, but still,
time.
I just caught it.
I mean, I wish it would have been a bigger picture, or even seeing like Wilson Fisk, like his back turned to the window,
staring at the wall,
Daredevil or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd have been awesome. But still, like the way her eyes, like she turned white and like she was shook, like when she started getting those text messages. I mean, and rightfully so. It's her mom, and then when she's like, "Who is this?" and I was like, and then he says the name, and then you see the picture. And then to see the credits at the end, you see the outline of Kingpin in the credits too.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't watch all the way through the credits. Oh, okay.
No, I mean it's MCU, so I mean,
I know I should watch to the end. I'm an idiot.
I'm waiting for a post credit scene.
Yeah,
we're due one. We haven't got one yet for this.
Not yet.
And there's only 6 episodes, right?
Yep. So the next one will be the last one. It'll drop on the day before Christmas or the week of Christmas.
But I like that. And it's good that we're kind of talking about this so we can pin this back into Spider-Man No Way Home with the rumors of Charlie Cox coming into, he's coming back to the MCU from the Netflix universe. But Charlie Cox's Daredevil being directly associated with people like Spider-Man and Kingpin.
Yep.
Will this have any kind of relation, any kind of direct correlation with the movie or the Hawkeye TV show? I don't know if you caught it too. In the Hawkeye episode 5, they made a reference to the new Statue of Liberty.
Oh yeah, new Statue of Liberty. So does this happen after what we see in No Way Home? That's a good catch. I caught that too. I was like, wait, did I miss something where the Statue of Liberty was destroyed?
No. In Spider-Man No Way Home, what we've seen in the trailer, they are erecting the Captain America shield at the top. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Hawkeye takes place a little bit later than what No Way Home does. I don't think they're at the exact same time, because I think if I'm not mistaken, MCU right now is like in 2024, 2023, 2024.
Something like that, but those 5 years.
Because of the blip, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was really cool too.
That was cool to see how the blip looks like from somebody that got blips. Yeah. They got
23.
23?
Yeah, because it's 2018 and then she blipped. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And it's Christmas. Right. So it's almost 2024.
The only problem I like the way it looked. I mean, it was very similar to the way in WandaVision.
Monica Rambeau.
Where she blipped or where she was coming back, which was really cool too. But the thing that upset me a little bit was going back to say Endgame, when Scott was in the quantum realm and he was gone for however
5
long,
hours.
5 hours
this time.
Yeah.
So if it was 5 years, she said she was only gone for 5 seconds.
Because she was in the reality. I think she was because she was in the reality stone, and time might work differently then, because when he blipped everybody, they disappeared. Right. It's not, they don't exist anymore. There's no, what's it called? It's kind of like a time paradox where it's either you exist or you don't. There's no in between. There's no nothing. Well, so when they got snapped out of the existence, they no longer were a thing. And then that 5 years later, they were snapped back into existence. She reappeared, and the timeline had to correct itself. And so you go from existing to just not existing.
I think what it was, she wasn't gone for 5 hours. in her existence, she was literally, she dusted and then came back together right away, to where Scott saying he was gone for 5 hours. Technically, it wouldn't be instant like she did in Hawkeye. It would have still been a 5-hour difference.
Well, I think she was just, the 5 seconds thing, I think, is just her, like, a figure of speech. That's how I took it when she's like, I was gone for 5 seconds, like she just went to the bathroom.
I don't know. I'll say I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation between Kate and Yelena. Like that, it was so fun. Seeing Florence her like Pugh. Loosen up, just so great.
She's a great actress. It was really good. Yeah, just her confidence of like, if I wanted to kill you, I would have killed you. You'd be dead.
And I love that she kept calling her Kate Bishop the whole time.
Are you saying so you know who I am? Yes.
I thought it got cringy after a little bit. Like when Kate called it out. Yeah, when Kate called it out, she should have just stopped. But it's her subtle way of trying to. Yeah, but I mean, there's a difference between.
I'm gonna give you one more Kate Bishop. Like, I don't know. I thought it was very fun. It wouldn't surprise me to see. I'm caught up. It wouldn't surprise me to see Valentina. Because I would imagine, since the next episode is the last one for Hawkeye, we're gonna get a post-credit scene there. It wouldn't surprise me that Valentina shows up again, because she did with Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah.
For what's his name? U.S. Agent.
U.S. Agent.
Yeah. Yep.
So you had U.S. Agent. She was at the end of Black Widow. Now we have Hawkeye. It wouldn't surprise me to introduce another one of the Dark Avengers at that point. Somehow, I don't know who they would bring in or what, but I mean, we know Kate's going to end up being Hawkeye, and
Yelena's kind of the new Black Widow.
And
here's a surprise. I don't want to like spoil it for myself, but what if, because you said that Scarlett Johansson is back working with Disney, producing another film again, right? They've kind of, mended their whatever they had about how Black Widow got distributed. What if in the multiverse getting crashed in No Way Home, what if Natasha comes back?
You can't.
An alternate version Natasha.
It would be an alternate version. Yeah, that is true. I didn't think about that.
Gamora did it, right? Gamora's an alternate version.
Yeah.
What if Natasha comes back? Wouldn't that be weird?
What if the whole thing was just a ploy?
The whole thing's a ploy.
The whole Disney thing was just a ploy to throw us off the scent.
I don't know. When money's involved, it's hard for me to think it's a ploy, but it might be. It might be. I don't know. Oh, she's done with them, and now she's back working with them again. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because she kind of came back in What If, right? An alternate version of Natasha. I thought for a second in What If that Natasha might come back, but
did she voice it in What If? Well, that doesn't matter.
She did not.
It would have been before anyways. I mean, the same thing happened with Chadwick Boseman. He did the voice of, him as Star-Lord or whatever.
Can't come back, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Timestamp over.
Yeah.
Timestamp over for Hawkeye.
Very abrupt. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I just can't wait. Let's see. You know what? Do we have anything else that we need to talk about before we get into this top 10?
Well, everything else news-wise happened on my Real News premiere episode, so go catch it there. Some things about the Batman, some fun information came out about the Batman and the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice Awards I announced. So there's some fun stuff there if you want to go back and catch up. So nothing else to talk about here.
I have nothing.
Nothing.
I did my second video that should be coming out next week. I think I'm gonna redo it though. Okay. I'm gonna make it better.
Good.
Better, stronger, faster.
We can rebuild him.
We have the technology.
All right, let's get into this. This is our top 10 Spider-Man related characters. There's no easy way to make that sound fun. Top 10 Spider-Man related characters. Stephanie, you are going to start us off today. It's going to be interesting to see how deep we go here.
That's what she said. I couldn't help it. Also what she said. All right, so my first character. So this is a character we only saw once in all of the Spider-Man movies, and it is the very first opponent that Peter Parker goes up against in the Spider-Man movies, played by an absolute legend known as Randy Savage. This is Bonesaw McGraw. I mean, the cage scene, the cage fight scene in the first Spider-Man where he's wants to be the human spider and Bruce Campbell calls him, no, you're the Spider-Man. I mean, it's so fun with the bonettes, kind of jawing him the whole way down, and just having to fight Randy Savage. I mean, that's not what I expected to see. I was a big wrestling fan as a kid, and I loved Randy Savage, the Macho Man. Ooh, yeah. And seeing him in with Spider-Man was so fun. So I'm going to go with Bonesaw McGraw as my number 10.
3 minutes of playtime.
Oh, that's a really good impression.
Love me some Macho Man.
Oh,
but that was like a cameo that kind of came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
And it was just like, this is so cool.
Because isn't that in the comics though? That Spider-Man.
But no, I'm saying like Randy Savage playing.
Of course, yeah.
It was just kind of like as a wrestling fan to be like, this is really cool. It's
super cool.
Yeah.
I feel really dumb that I didn't know that was Macho Man Randy Savage
really?
Until like very, very recently.
Okay.
Like I remember watching it and I was like, I know that. I was like, that sounds, I was like, they're playing off a Macho Man. Like that's a good impersonation.
Guy.
Yeah, but like, cause he just looks so different.
Yeah.
That all the stuff.
Big bushy beard, the float. Yeah.
He used to wear sunglasses all the time too. I mean, so
yeah.
To see them that close in the face, really, without glasses on.
Dash, what was his lady's name again? I can't remember.
Miss Elizabeth.
There we go. Thank you.
One of like the top 10 biggest wrestling moments of all time was when they got back together.
Oh, they got married. Yeah. That was great.
Her rushing to the ring. Oh,
she's a cutie pie.
Yeah.
So
that was like soap opera for us. Yeah.
Yep. That was your General Hospital.
Definitely.
All right. So there's my number 10. So we're going to Jared next. Jared, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is Dr. Octavius.
Ooh, I number 10. Okay.
The reason why Doc Ock is number 10, it's so cliche. You work for the dude who is you work for the dude, you help him develop the tech that you end up having to fight. And it's just, it's there. It's, I don't know. It just feels like this is a trope. Okay, go on and live with it. Like have your fun with the trope.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that too bland for you guys? Is that not like?
Oh, Doc Ock is an incredible character, and I'll even give it to Into the Spider-Verse version of Dr. Octavia. Is the female, and it's just like her. I loved her character. So cool. Everything about Into the Spider-Verse, but especially and then to have Alfred Molina, just an incredible job playing him in the Raimi verse was just great. No, good pick. And I'll even go as far as PS4 Spider-Man.
That's half the reason why I got it, because I had the PlayStation 4 for a little bit, right? And I was like, that's so campy and cheesy. Like, how does Doc Ock not know you're fucking Spider-Man? Like, how does he not know that? So
yeah, I mean, you're playing through that storyline to where you're just like, come on. Like really? Like to see this shit laying around here, dude. Like, you're a doctor.
Well, there are some docs who.
My mom's a doctor and she does not know everything. So just
but I'm saying
PhD is piled higher and deeper. That's all it stands for.
He should have at least seen some of those web shooter stuff laying around the
Dash. True. I texted my mom. I was like, "Hey, mom, because my stepdad's name is G. I call him G. I'm like, hey, G's gonna come pick up the car on Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. and get my tires changed for me while I'm at work, right?" And this is a text message. This is in text. And she goes, "Monday, right?" My mom has performed open heart surgery. She has massaged a heart in the ER. She has brought 2 hospitals online in Houston and here in, it's just insane that she's done all this amazing medical stuff. I'm like, Tuesday, 10:30, and it's in a text message. It's like, "Monday, right?" "Love you too, Mom." "Yeah, sure."
Look up, look up on the other text.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can kind of see how the doc would miss some things.
Yeah.
I give my mom the exact same type of shit for that sort of stuff, and she can't work her phone. I'm like, "You have a PhD." And she's like, "It's in biochemistry. It has nothing to do with a phone."
All right, Dash, you're number 10, big guy.
Okay, I'm gonna pull a Stephanie here for my list. I'm giving you dates for everything here.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So some of my list goes into comics, some of it goes into movies and stuff. My number 10 comes straight out of 1976. This is the first team up of Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Ooh, nice.
So Wolverine is my number 10. This first happened in Marvel Team Up Annual 1 when Spider-Man joined up with the X-Men. Not only that, and this is something I did not know, that Wolverine and Spider-Man are blood brothers.
Really?
Not only are they blood brothers, they have traveled through time together too.
Wow.
Well, wait, isn't Wolverine isn't Wolverine like he's an amalgamation of like everybody, isn't he?
No.
In some of the comics?
No, that would be Deadpool.
Oh, okay.
Deadpool was a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. He was like, he is a weapon. They're both weapons. But Deadpool was everybody together.
I will see myself out, Marvel and comic nerds. I'm sorry, my apologies.
Don't apologize. Nope. There's no gatekeeping here. If you like it, you like it.
Yeah, this was tough because I love Wolverine. He's not my absolute favorite X-Men. I'm a huge Gambit fan. But yeah, number 10, I'm going Wolverine as my number 10 Spider-Man related character.
Very
Stephanie,
nice.
take us to number 9.
All right, so this is a character we have not seen for my number 9. He was supposed to be in Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, the ill-fated Broadway musical of Spider-Man that was going to happen and was awful and never ended up opening. But we're going to see upcoming Sandman, which is a man turned into a bunch of sand. What about a character who's just an amalgamation of bees? Let's go with Swarm. This is an actual character. So this is a guy who is a scientist. I had his name, but I forgot to write it down. He found a nest of bees that were very docile, and he was trying to figure them out. Noticed that they were very near to like a meteor that had landed. Tried to do some experiments to control these bees. The bees end up attacking him and killing him and devouring him somehow. I don't know. But his consciousness imprints onto the bees. And so he becomes basically a skeleton with bees that he can control. And I thought this character is so weird and so ridiculous that I thought, wouldn't it be hilarious if they had him in one of the movies played by Nicolas Cage, just so when Spider-Man starts killing him, he can go, not the bees. So that's my number 9, Swarm.
If I'm not mistaken, because Jared, you played PS4, right? The Spider-Man?
I played it enough, yeah.
Swarm. Sorry, I didn't get my squirt bottle after him. He's being very lovey right now, and I get it, but he's looking at the light. If I'm not mistaken, Swarm has all the henchmen that you have to fight.
It's a different version of. I think it's a different version. No, it's Mr. Negative. I think is the bad guy.
No, not the ones with the masks and everything.
Okay,
just like the thugs that you have to fight. If I'm not mistaken, they wear jackets that say Swarm on it.
They swarm
and
on it.
It's kind of like a nod to that character.
Yeah.
I'd never
been
paid
around
too
for
much
a while.
attention.
He's been in like, he was in the Amazing Spider-Man run. He was like somewhere in the 30s, I think, in terms of like numbers of issues, somewhere in there. I researched it earlier, forgot to write it down. So I lost that one, but it's such a weird, ridiculous concept that I'm like, I gotta include that character on my list. That's too weird. As Nicolas Cage, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Love that boy.
Yeah. If you saw that trailer this week, I love me some Nicolas Cage.
God.
He's a great man.
I was actually listening to PKN, which is the pre-show to PKA, and they were talking about Nicolas Cage. And the reason why he's doing so many movies right now is because he may have gotten a little bit of trouble with the IRS and needs to make back a lot of his money.
He bought a lot of dumb crap, which is funny in the trailer for The Unbearable Weight of Matter. He's like, oh, I'll give you 20,000 for it. That's such a meta take on Nicolas Cage.
Man, I love it.
So speaking of loving things, we're gonna go to your number 9, Jared. What do you got for number 9?
So, as some of you may have been wondering, what is that little thing that we see out of the flicker of Jared's camera? I too know that my camera has been glitching when it's on HD mode, and I too am trying to figure that out. So I apologize in advance if it's messing with you. I got to figure that out. But my number 9 is Venom. The only reason why I chose Venom at number 9 is because I remember an article that there was an article that I swear to God I read, that when Venom bonded with Spider-Man, he just became wildly obsessed with the power that he could have as the Black Spider, or whatever you want to call himself. And ever since then, he's just basically been obsessed with Peter,
Basically,
And I think it's kind of cool because he's not really a villain, because he doesn't want to kill Spidey, but he doesn't really want to team up with Spidey. He just wants to be ingratiated in the presence of Spidey so that he can take on, what is ultimately, oh God, what was the red symbiote's name? Carnage. So he could basically be able to be like Carnage, the alpha, so.
There's a back and forth with Venom. After She-Venom committed suicide, he blamed Spider-Man for it. And that's when that whole partnership between the two of them, to where he was kind of like not a hero, but kind of like an anti-hero, kind of like Punisher was. That's when that relationship died, because he blamed Peter for the death of She-Venom. And that's when it was like, I'm going to be bad again. Like that evil that just took over, seeped into the symbiote and just kind of took over Eddie.
Leave it to a woman to destroy good things. I'm looking at you, Stephanie. All right. Anyways,
why don't you fuck around and find out?
I may just come to Minnesota,
Oh gosh, don't say that. I sat next to a woman at the restaurant today who had the worst Minnesota accent I've heard in a long time. Oh, you don't say there,
I gotta make a drive to the Dells. I might as well just take a hard left and come on out.
Hard left and come over to Minnesota.
I'll see you in a minute.
Alrighty, right. Sounds good.
Gotta get my ass kicked. All right, Dash, who's your number 9, big guy?
All right, my number 9, I hate having it this high, but going through my list, there are...
I'm sorry, you said this high at number 9?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I hate having it this high at number 9. But going through my list, there's so many other characters that I feel are better suited related characters, with the exception of one. But my number 9 goes back to 1966. He is the man who essentially recruited Peter into the Avengers. He is his mentor. He is everybody's favorite. And just like Stephanie with her Matrix reaction video, We Love You 3000, this number 9 comes in with Tony Stark, Iron Man. Just a great character in the comics. Still to this day, I mean, I know it hasn't been so long ago since Tony passed, but I can watch every single time I watch Endgame, I cry.
Oh, it's awful.
Every time I watch a reaction video of somebody watching the video, whether they're crying or not, I am bawling. It is I'm choking up just talking about it. No other character, I think, has affected me more, because it wasn't just like a trilogy or 4 or 5 movies. We've kind of grown over the course of 10 years with Tony and Robert Downey Jr. as that character, and it's just amazing. And then the relationship that he had ultimately in the end with Peter Parker, and then the dusting happened, and then him coming back, and then they even in the middle of a battle find time to hug it out because you've come back. It's just a special relationship that they have, and it's more than just a mentor-mentee relationship. It is essentially, this is the person I want to grow up to be like, and it's just a special, just beautiful thing. So yeah, my number 9, Tony Stark, Iron Man.
But why is it so? Why is it number 9? It's so low on the list, but it's so high for you.
No. Like it shouldn't be
a
like
Spider-Man character.
It's a Spider-Man character, but it's like it's not like a number 3 or a number 2 where you would think it would be. So in a span of like a top 10, like it's high up there, and the numbers like that, not
usually it's going to be higher up where somebody else. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
I would imagine that if you have, obviously if you have, Iron Man on your list or whatever, it's obviously going to be higher than this because we're getting ready to go into number 8 with Stephanie. See how I pulled that back around?
We will see.
All
well,
right.
Okay, for my number 8, this is a gentleman who is as handsome as Tony Stark. I think definitely has the chiseled jawline of a Tony Stark.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Jared. You too.
Jared coming in number 8.
Yes, Jared. No, it can only be Jared. No, this is a guy who showed up in all 3 of the first Spider-Man movies. And we never got his name, but allegedly he was supposed to be in Spider-Man 4, according to rumors. He would have been Mysterio. And since he didn't give a name, I'll have to give his groovy name, which is Mr. Bruce Campbell. I love that Bruce Campbell shows up in the first 3, which of course, because Sam Raimi doing the movies and, Ash is the greatest. Bruce has to show up, and he's great every time he shows up as the wrestling promoter in the first one, as the usher who won't let Peter in Spider-Man 2, and as the French maitre d' in the third one when he's going to propose to Mary Jane. And again, the rumors were that in Spider-Man 4, it was going to be revealed that, he's been Mysterio all along, possibly. So that would have been really interesting to have Bruce Campbell as Mysterio. He's with enough joie de vivre, not to use French terms, but he has enough presence where you remember him just in these little bit parts just because he shows up. And I love that he has these interactions with Peter throughout the movie. He's kind of like the other Stan Lee. He just keeps showing up, and like he might be another character. It's awesome. So I'm going with Bruce Campbell as my number 8.
Great.
Nice.
Yep. Thank you. All right. So from one chiseled jawline to the next, let's go to Jared with your number 8.
I've gone with a little bit differently here. Spider-Gwen.
Oh, very good.
So it was literally like, I remember when the trailer for Into the Spider-Verse 2 came out, and it was just memed all to hell. And then I had to actually watch the trailer to see what happened. And I think it's kind of cute, like, because she lost her Peter. He doesn't really have, like, he's not very good with the girls. And of course, he kind of falls for her kind of in the beginning, and then turns out, she's this bad bitch, and turns out, she's the Spider-Man or Spider-Woman of her universe. And she's just so dope, and then I just think it's kind of cute how they interact. And like, I would like to see how that blossoms in the second or even third or fourth Spider-Verse. I think that they could have something really dope. I mean, what's cooler than having two Spider-Man and Spider-Woman all of a sudden get together and then have spider babies? I know that's a weird sentence that I said.
I mean, if they have 8 legs, that's going to be odd.
Yeah,
I know.
A lot of booties.
I just think it's kind of cool because, like, you typically don't have that. The superhero relationships don't work out. I mean, like Spider-Man and Black Cat. Apparently they were really, really good together, but they were also really, really bad together. So I just think it'd be really kind of cool to see how they work out.
I agree with you on that.
Dash.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take a page from Jared here.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And this is another one that hits hard for me.
Don't cry. Don't.
Yeah.
Crying episode.
Like I'm emotional here. I have a lot of emotional shit on my list. But mine is not Spider-Gwen, but it is Gwen Stacy is my number 8. It's very close to in the comic world. It is in the top 10, if not the top 5, untimely deaths that took place in their worlds. Whether you're talking about Martha and Thomas Wayne being killed, or Robin being killed, or the death of Superman, Gwen Stacy is up there. Of course, in the comics, was killed by Green Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man 2. What's up, Baker?
Hey, kid stuff. What are you doing, huh?
He's a little sicky tonight.
He heard you say Black Cat, and he's like, cat?
Yeah, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, killed by a Green Goblin in the comics, and then of course with by Harry Osborn and Amazing Spider-Man 2. Just a very emotional relationship that they had coming off the breakup with MJ, then with Gwen Stacy, and then her passing away, having to choose between the two. And then in the movie, the way her back was just destroyed by Andrew Garfield catching her. Very emotional thing for me. That is probably
that's awful.
One or two number one or number two deaths in comics for me, up there with the death of Robin, of how it affected me growing up. So yeah.
Well, like I told you before the show started, I just watched The Amazing Spider-Man 2 for the first time today, all the way through. And I was not prepared for how brutal that scene is when the sound when she actually breaks. I was not prepared.
If you've seen the comic and the way like he was holding her and everything at the end is exactly
the same.
like it is in the comic. It is
heartbreaking scene.
It really is. And it's a good character too. I love what Emma Stone did with it in Spider-Man 3.
Better than Bryce Dallas Howard in Spider-Man 3.
I did.
Okay.
I mean,
she's cute without red hair.
She is. Yeah. But I love me some Emma Stone, and I like what Emma Stone brought to the character with Dennis Leary as her dad. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you were wide open today, aren't you?
Full throttle, baby. Full throttle. In this lull here, I'm taking a playbook out of your book here, Dash. Actually, I'm adjusting real quick. I made a small adjustment that I think is going to play out nicely here.
So taking a page out of Dash's book is having 75 honorable mentions.
Can I say real quick? One honorable mention, baby.
Holy shit!
Good for you.
So proud of you.
I could have went with it, and I took my paper and I said, no, not
Keep
today.
Keep it pithy.
Keep it
all right.
One.
So proud of you, Dash.
All right, Stephanie, on to our number 7. So proud.
Alrighty, our number 7. So this is another character we have not seen in any of the films yet, but it is considered the oldest of Spider-Man's villains because he appears in the very first Amazing Spider-Man all the way back in 1960, whatever it is. This is Chameleon. I think this character is really cool because he starts out, he's the half brother of Kraven the Hunter, which is interesting in and of itself, but he's like a master spy. He first starts off not having powers. He's just using masks and makeup to just look like other people, to imitate other people. But as the comics go on, he actually gains the ability to be kind of like one of the faceless men from Game of Thrones. He can actually change his face and his appearance and just it's almost like morph the X-Men. But not quite. Just it's I guess a little bit different in how he does it. He has malleable tissue that he can just change his shape to look like anybody, which looks really cool. Like the pigmentation of his skin, like all that sort of. He's a chameleon. It's really interesting, and I think that a character like that would be really interesting in some of these movies because we have Secret Wars coming up, right? With the Skrull being able to mimic everybody. The idea of a character that could be anybody at any time would be really interesting in a Spider-Man story. I would like to see him maybe, but probably won't because we have the Skrull already who can shapeshift, so we might not see him. But the backstory of him is really cool. Some of his adventures going against his half-brother Kraven, it's really interesting. So I picked Chameleon as the oldest of the Spider-Man villains.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So we'll go to you then, Jared, for your number 7.
So my number 7 was my number 6, but is now my number 7.
Okay.
So I actually picked PlayStation 4 Mary Jane.
Okay.
The reason why I picked PS4 Mary Jane is because I think she's one of the better ones. They had just broken up in the game. They had been still friends, and then Stanley, of course, was the cook. He was the one that was always serving him the fries. And he's like, don't let her get away, kid. And it was just kind of cool because like every time Peter would think they would advance, she was like, no, that was just an adventure. Like that was just a journalism thing. Like it was so like if you'll find a pattern here, like if it can kind of be more related to the real world and how things are kind of in the real world, where it's not just fanciful, it's like, oh, the nerd gets the girl or whatever. That's kind of what I like. I like how she just kind of rebuffed him throughout the game. I didn't finish the game, so I don't know what ultimately happens at the end, but I think it's kind of cool to where I stopped playing. She had just kind of kept rebuffing him the entire time, every time he made a move. So good show there, Mary Jane. Way to be strong. And
yeah, is she better than Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane in the first three?
She is.
Yeah.
Not a fan. No, I'm sorry. I hate to bag on a lady, but
bag away.
Not a fan. That's not like, because I watched the old Spider-Man cartoons, and Mary Jane in that is she just felt very different than Kirsten Dunst. She just wasn't given much to do, I guess. She's just screaming, kind of singing, I guess, in Spider-Man 3, and she's fine, I guess, but there's nothing there with that character in the movies.
It was that trope. She was the trope.
Yeah.
She was the hot chick that always dated the cool dudes, and Toby was the nerd. That's why it's so bad looking back on it now, is because it was such a trope back then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it was one of the first big comic book movies that we got. So I guess it seems like a trope in hindsight, but it was kind of originating it, I guess. But yeah, it was still Hollywood not understanding that the comic book movie is actually the emotional part of it, not just the fun costumes and the fight scenes. They didn't quite understand that yet, unfortunately.
They at least got the suit pretty good, though.
Got the suit real good, and Doc Ock looked awesome.
So Dash, who are we doing for your number 7?
My number 7 is our first repeat on the list. Jarrett brought this in at his number 9. First brought it in 1984 to bring in the black suit, and then Venom's first appearance finally in 1988. 4 years later, with Eddie Brock. Funny enough that you should bring up Secret Wars. It would not surprise me if Sir Tom Holland, or not Tom Holland, Tom Hardy,
Sir Tom Hardy
would be a part of that, because going back through my research, Secret Wars was the first appearance of the symbiote.
It was.
So it wouldn't surprise me, maybe not Tom Hardy, but we bring that symbiote story into it, maybe as like a flashback or something.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember who the artist is for Venom? Anybody know who the artist is for Venom? He's very famous.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Jackson Pollock.
No, he ended up doing Spawn.
McFarlane?
McFarlane is the one that drew Venom for the first time. Yeah, that's why Spawn kind of feels a little bit like Venom.
Right.
It's the same dude, kind of those angles.
Very cool. But yeah.
Spawn is a demon. I love him.
Yeah. I can't wait for that movie to come out, when that's going to happen.
All right. Stephanie, on to your number 6 now.
All right. My number 6 is a character that, as you mentioned, does feature in the PS4 Spider-Man game. I think this character is super cool. He's also really fun to play. If anybody plays the Marvel Contest of Champions mobile game, my husband is a big player of that, and I played it for a little while. But Mr. Negative is my choice, because I think this character is super duper cool. He was, it says that he was in the first Amazing Spider-Man comic, but he was as his Martin Lee character. So his powers is that he can control the light force and the dark force. He was tested upon alongside Cloak and Dagger. So he's kind of like a combination of Cloak and Dagger. He can kind of mimic the same power structure of both of them, but also he can give incredible healing with his light force abilities. And his light force ability being applied upon Eddie Brock is actually what created Anti-Venom, which is kind of a cool origin story. So I mean, he's a character I think they could play around with a lot more in the cinematic universe, maybe, because Cloak and Dagger, if anybody's watching the episodes of that, that's a really cool show, really done well, those two characters. So kind of the more mystical side of Marvel, but he's got this dichotomy of personalities where he's got this good side, which is Martin Lee, who's kind of benevolent and a philanthropist, and then he's got this Mr. Negative, who's the ruthless gangster, and as you faced him in the video game, he's kind of a badass. And I think that'd be a cool character that they could play around with in the cinematic universe going forward. And he just looks really cool. He looks really, really cool. So I'm gonna go with Mr. Negative. Not to be the girly, like, oh, he looks really cool. I don't know a whole lot about him, but he's cool looking.
Those fight scenes, especially on PS4,
yeah, it looks really cool.
Turns negative is just really, really cool.
Looks neat.
So
I didn't enjoy the fights. They confused me.
Oh, really? Because of the light switching?
Yeah. I'd like
photosensitive then, probably.
Well, no, I don't do well when I'm distracted like that because it did look so badass.
Well,
I was like,
this it kind of takes up the whole screen too. So
yeah,
especially a lot of the ones where you're like in the warehouses and you're having to go through the 3 levels or whatever. Those when you strike it like like whites out the whole screen.
The only problem is like there was like one setting for difficulty on Spider-Man, and I'm I played Fallout 4 since it was released, right? Okay. I just finally now have gotten a hang of hard to where it's easy on me. So like it's taken like a year and a half of practice. So like when a game starts you off on hard, you're like, I'm gonna suck for a minute.
Yeah,
that's difficult.
Yeah.
So then we should transition into your number 6. Who's your number 6 character?
If anybody's been paying attention, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about here. The Sinister Six is my number 6 spot.
Oh, you're putting 6 characters in one. The team. Okay.
I just think it's so dope that you pissed off six villains enough that they're like, you know what? Let's kill them. like let's team up and kill them. That's it. That's all I have written. You ever pissed off 6 dudes at once enough to put aside their differences that they hate, use that much, and try to team up to kill you? I haven't. That's my little note. That is my note there. That's all I have.
This is a comic idiot question here. Is there only, because I know the Suicide Squad has multiple iterations, is there only one group that constitutes the Sinister Six? Is it, Vulture, Ock, Rhino, Goblin,
Electro,
5? Who's the 6th then? Scorpion. Okay, yeah. So that is the only iteration that is the Sinister Six.
I think there are a couple other ones, but that's the main. Okay.
The event, like the Avengers.
If we get, correct. With the Avengers, there's different iterations throughout history of the Avengers, just like with the X-Men as well.
Right.
If we get a 6th member, highly doubt it's going to be Scorpion because he's only been shown one time.
Yeah.
In the MCU, and that was in the prison scene.
In Homecoming, right?
Homecoming, correct. At the end of Homecoming, the guy he's got a scorpion tattoo on his neck. That's
because we have the lizard dude, Lizard.
Yeah.
Then we have Doc Ock, Goblin, and then Jamie is supposed to come back. So that's 4.
Fox.
Sandman.
And then Sandman is supposed to come back. So we don't really know who the 6th one is.
It could be different people. It really could. I mean, if we're going to talk rumors, it could be Venom. We could have
Hobgoblin.
If you know your comics and you know the way that things have gone, and if you look at somebody who's lost a lot of weight in this movie, then you will know who Hobgoblin would be, and that is a strong possibility, and that would be Ned.
You think it's Ned?
Ned is Hobgoblin in the comics.
Oh, interesting. He would turn on Spidey. Oh, interesting.
It could be Mysterio as well. We saw him laying there. But it's one of those things like, did you see him get buried? Did you see him get cremated? Did you, do you know he's dead? So, it could be Mysterio. I don't know. I really don't. Hi, baby.
Yeah, I just think it's cool that, you piss off 6 individuals enough though. It's like, we're going to kill Spider-Man. You want to team up? Yeah, let's team up.
Team up.
Like it takes, because I know a lot of villains like that. Villains have that ego. Villains have an ego.
No.
And yeah, but I just think it's dope that just like 6 of them were like,
let's get them.
Let's mess them up together. That's kind of cool.
Well, it's probably the only way they have a shot, right?
Well,
that happened in like the other Marvel universe with like Enchantress and Baron Zemo and like that sort of team up. They've gone after the Avengers that way. So the villains know they strengthen numbers. It's the only way you can take out some of these heroes.
Yeah. Well, Dash, who is your number 6?
My number 6, I'm excited about. So my number 6 would not have happened without 1976 and 1981's crossover event.
Okay.
This was a major Marvel DC crossover event.
Ooh.
This person, Spider-Man, teamed up with them to face Carnage and the Joker.
Okay.
Really?
I'm listening.
Yeah. My number 6 is Batman.
What?
Yes.
What?
So, this happened in 95. He teamed up with Batman to take on Carnage and the Joker, who were there to destroy Gotham. But also teamed up again after that to face Ra's al Ghul and the Kingpin.
Ooh.
But none of that would have happened if he hadn't have teamed up with Superman in 76 and 81. But I think the fact that it was Carnage and the Joker that they were going after just made it badass to me. Like you take two just of the most evil, like just
Chaos.
pure evil people, the Joker, and then I mean Venom's evil, but then you just throw
Carnage.
blood into it as just Carnage. I mean that's his name. To me, two of the most evil in the both of the comic worlds. But yeah, Batman is my number 6. Good old crossovers.
All right.
All right,
Batman v
Stephanie.
Spider-Man, Dawn of Webbing.
Dawn of Webbing. All right, Stephanie, take us into the second half with your number 5.
Alrighty, so this is a character a lot of characters I'm picking we have not seen in the movies because I just wanted to bring characters that haven't gotten a lot of shine thus far. And this character, we did see him in, if anybody watched the 1999 Spider-Man Unlimited limited run, about 13 episodes. This is a character called the High Evolutionary. Now, this guy intrigued me because he has basically the ability to evolve and devolve himself and others at will.
That's right. That guy.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds really cool. So he actually appeared in Thor first. This is Thor 134, which is a 1966. He's a geneticist, Herbert Wyndham. I got his name this time. Built a genetic accelerator. And then at one point in the comics, he actually builds what's called a counter Earth. He wants to build an Earth where people, things of high evolution can evolve on their own without interference from lower evolutionary forms. And Spider-Man ends up going to counter Earth. It's on the other side of the sun from Earth, and it's also out of phase with Earth, so it's kind of hidden in two different ways from Earth. He's been in a lot of other iterations, Agents of Smash, and he's been in a Guardians of the Galaxy run. But he's also been voiced by both Jonathan Frakes, Will Riker from Next Generation, for all you Next Gen fans, and he also got a voiceover once from Nolan North, who of course everybody knows as Nathan Drake from Uncharted. So I mean, that's voiceover royalty right there, voicing him. It's a character I think that they could definitely, if they brought in Kang, they brought in these big huge sorts of villains, but they haven't really done things like Genosha. They haven't done things that are more evolutionary and kind of animal human chimera based sort of thing. Like Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a mechanical rhino. It wasn't a genetic rhino. Lizard was a genetic lizard, obviously, but I'd like more of that. That's my favorite stuff of X-Men is kind of Genosha and some of these mutant-y kind of characters. And I think a character like High Evolutionary could be kind of like another version, maybe Sinister, right? So he's being able to scientifically adapt people. You know me, I love science. It could be somebody that could be really fun to be played with in the movies. So I'd like to see High Evolutionary brought into the cinematic universe, maybe in the future. So that's my number 5. You guys know this. Where have you seen this character before, Jared? You said, "Oh, that character from what? What did you see him in?"
I've seen the little comics that he was in. One of the famous one that it's like, dude, you can cure cancer, but I want to turn people into dinosaurs. That's fair. That's fair.
Absolutely.
That's fair. Nice pick. I love it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So what's your number 5 pick?
My number 5 is actually Zendaya from as MJ. I just think that the way MJ, like, I'm particular about my characters' girlfriends or like their potential love interests. Like it's got to feel fluid and natural. Like
Mhm.
I just like the awkwardness between how MJ is. She's not that. What
She's
you were talking.
gorgeous.
She's not Kirsten Dunst. You know, Kirsten Dunst was something else. You know, just
Mhm.
like with oh god, Lois Lane from the Superman series. Like I'm like, I could have picked somebody better, you know. And then I don't know, Zendaya just does it well. It's just it feels very natural. It feels very fluid, and I just think it's kind of cool. Like
Mhm.
I like the progression that they're taking. It's not this overt, just kind of meh. Like it feels kind of like a high school thing, which is kind of dope.
She actually feels like Peter's best friend,
Yeah,
unlike Kirsten didn't really feel like Peter's best friend in the movies, but she really does feel like they are, best buddies.
yeah. What's
And in real life
who's
too.
the Olga? Was it the girl that Peter lived next to that always brought him cookies and
Olga.
stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally should have shacked up with
Ursula, something
her.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
she was
cute.
dope. She was awesome.
She's cute. And she fed him food, which way to a man's heart is through his stomach, right?
Uh,
How that old phrase goes.
Steam gift cards. Steam gift cards.
Okay.
Dash, who's your number 5 big guy?
My number 5 is my absolute favorite Spider-Man that there is, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099.
Nice.
Just an incredible character. Brought in 92, but they didn't meet 2099, and Spider-Man never met until 95 in a crossover event where they actually switched places, not on purpose. And Miguel would end up having to face Venom, and Peter would end up having to face Hobgoblin 2211, which was like this hybrid, just like strong version of like Hobgoblin. And yeah, super weird. But I love Nueva York. I love the hybrid of like the Hispanic and America together is like really cool. And especially, I mean, just like when you saw like in the trailer for across the Spider-Verse, a lot of like levels in traffic and stuff, a lot of bridges. I mean, it's like the same way in Nueva York as it is in India. Very, very cool.
Yeah, it looked really neat, really cool animation. I like to learn more about that character. Like I don't know anything about him, and so seeing him in the next Spider-Verse movie is gonna be exciting for me, especially because it's gonna be voiced by what's his name?
The guy who's playing
Poe Dameron.
Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. For me, it's the suit. It comes down to the suit. I like the reverse red and blue. Blue is the main color with the red skull, spider skull, is really cool, and then the blades kind of on the arms. Very cool.
Looks neat.
All righty, your number 4, Stephanie.
Alrighty, so number 4 is a character that we are going to see eventually. It has been announced that there will be a movie about this guy, and I'm really excited because they have cast Kick-Ass himself to play Mr. Sergei Kravenov, Kraven the Hunter. So they are going to actually, I don't know if they're going to do the whole, everyone knows of Kraven the Hunter because of the Kraven's Last Hunt storyline, is a very famous one from 87. But it is basically the predator, right? He hunts all this big game. He wants to be known as the best hunter in the world. He decides he needs to hunt the greatest man in the world, which is Spider-Man, and basically terrorizes the ever-loving crap out of Spider-Man in this hunt. So, I mean, having Kick-Ass as a dude, if you ever seen the picture of Kraven, he's that crazy cheetah print, feathered collar. He looks amazing. He's got a sister, several siblings who are all badasses. But the idea of him hunting Spider-Man and Spider-Man really maybe not having a chance to get away from him, it's kind of his most feared villain in a lot of opinions. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to that movie. I think it's coming in a couple of years now, but Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven the Hunter sounds awesome. So that's my number 4 pick.
Nice. Forgot about Kraven the Hunter. Forgot
He's
about it for a second.
cool. He's cool looking, and I'm happy to see him coming up.
It's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting.
That'd be an interesting movie where Spider-Man just gets hunted completely.
Well, I was gonna say it's gonna be interesting
do
for him to play Kraven, especially now that everything is kind of together.
Right, View as Quicksilver. Yeah, how are they gonna do that? Well, I mean, Gemma Chan played a character in Captain Marvel, and now she's in Eternals.
Chris Evans did the same.
Chris Evans did the
Human Torch and Captain Marvel, but at that time there was
connected.
Yeah, and we had already done the new iteration of the Fantastic Four. So okay,
we'll see how they do it. So we're gonna go. That was my number 4. So we're gonna for number 4, Jared. What do you got?
Deadpool.
Nice.
It's his bromance. The two are just comedy heaven. Like, I would thoroughly love to see Tom Holland and I would just love to see them interact with each other. It just
might happen now.
I know it might happen, and that's what's so crazy is that just because Holland can be that wiry kind of just like kid, and then why can't I fucking remember his name?
Ryan Reynolds.
Thank you, Ryan Reynolds. Wow, I can't believe I blanked on that. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds, and then you take Tom Holland playing the wiry Spider-Man. It feels like it'd be a match made in heaven.
Absolutely. And they Deadpool is kind of a takeoff. Is Deadpool before Deathstroke, or is Deathstroke before Deadpool? Because one is like a copy of the other, right?
Deathstroke was first.
Yeah. Okay, so Deadpool is a copy of Deathstroke.
Yeah. Wade Wilson.
Oh yeah, Slade Wilson, right?
Yeah, Slade Wilson.
Yeah,
and lots of pockets.
And lots of pockets. Yeah,
lots and lots of pockets.
Love me some.
All right, Dash, take us away with your number 4, big guy.
My number 4 is one of the most evilest people in the Spider-Man universe. He killed my girl. He is the CEO of Oscorp. He is the father to Harry. He is Norman Osborn. And I separate this not just to go, Green Goblin is my number 4. Norman Osborn is my number 4. Just
like a Lex Luthor character.
Yeah, I look at them separate. Where Goblin is just mean and evil, Norman kind of has a little bit of both and can just snap at any moment. Of course, like I said, he killed Gwen Stacy in the comics, but also let's go through here. Tried to help his sick wife. Creates this toxin. In the movie, in the Raimi verse, it was that his dad was dying. He was trying to help save him. Had an affair with Gwen Stacy as well, and she fathered 2 children by him.
Slag.
Yeah, and then he killed her. So
wow. What a day.
But if I have to go Norman Osborn, there's one iteration of it. I have to go Willem Dafoe.
How could you not?
In the first film in the Raimi verse. Can't say on how it is going to be in the MCU. But I know his performance as Norman Osborn as Green Goblin in the first film was just incredible. The suit was great.
Looked cool.
But it is the one scene to where he breaks through the glass and he's like, but it's just
looks cool.
Great scene, and just an incredible actor.
I love how Willem Dafoe is torturing Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 2 and 3. He's just like he keeps being his, poking him to do bad stuff all the time. His subconscious, it's very sinister. Like a lot of abuse. I feel like Harry had a lot of abuse from Norman growing up.
Yeah, that was tough. All right, Stephanie, your number 3.
Well, it's the 3rd time she's going to be mentioned, but this is Spider-Gwen. I'm just saying Spider-Gwen / Gwen Stacy because I don't separate the two. I think the fact that Gwen Stacy is so cool, she really is the high point of the Amazing Spider-Man films, 1 and 2. Emma Stone is such a great actress. The fact that she is like a geneticist, she's a very, very smart gal. That's really celebrated because in the first, in Spider-Man 3, Gwen Stacy shows up. She's just kind of a dumb model and not great. And to have Gwen Stacy be, a science girl, it has a place in my heart right there. And Spider-Gwen in Into the Spider-Verse I think is the star of Into the Spider-Verse because just the way she's so balletic, the way that her powers work, even though she's wearing ballet flats, and it's such a cool character. And again, I like her because I played the Marvel Contest of Champions mobile game. And the way that her power set works in the game is that she has different modes you can switch into depending on certain moves that you make. So you can go into more of a defensive mode or into more of an attack mode in the game. And it's really cool. It's really difficult to fight her in the game. And she looks really cool. The costume looks really cool. But the way that she's portrayed in both Into the Spider-Verse and in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I think she's a really neat character. And I would love it. Again, if we're going to break in the multiverse in No Way Home, I would love it if Emma Stone shows up, or like if Andrew Garfield does show up, we don't know yet, but if he shows up to possibly save Zendaya to redeem himself for not saving Gwen Stacy, maybe the multiverse breaks and an alternate universe of Gwen shows up and maybe Andrew Garfield can get a little bit of heart healing that he can see Gwen again. I will bawl my face off if that happens.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, she's such a cool character, Spider-Gwen. I would love to see. I can't wait to see Across the Spider-Verse. So Spider-Gwen's my number 3.
Good voice.
Nice.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. We're going to you, Jared. What's your number 3?
So because Hawkeye is playing, I did wonder if Hawkeye and Spider-Man ever teamed up, and apparently they did. Okay. And it kind of gave you a small little snippet into why Clint is constantly always training. I mean, this is different Clint than what we have in the movies, but Clint reveals to Spidey why he trains so much. He's basically in a team with literal superheroes. I mean, Thor's a god for heaven's sake. He's just a dude with a bow. Like he goes on this whole exposition where he can't stop training, he can't stop missing because the moment he misses, like I said, he's just a dude with a bow. And then of course, in typical trope style, Clint Barton misses a shot on one of the villains. Like what happens when a villain's like, I hate water. Well, guess where their next fight is? It's in the middle of the ocean. Right. So like, of course he misses, but Clint's too busy fighting some of the henchmen, and Spidey notices this. And so he sticks the arrow in the bad guy. And Clint's like, yeah, see, what's up? I didn't miss. And Spidey's like, yeah, good job, bro.
Oh, that's cute.
So I thought it was kind of cool because it's like, he literally shows him that he can't miss. He talks about all the training that he does, and of course, what does he do? He misses. But
Spider-Man's got his back, though.
Spider-Man for the bro move. So Hawkeye is my number 3.
Nice.
Hawkeye is my number 3. Dash, what is your trace for Spanish 3?
We're going emotional again here.
Oh boy, he's gonna cry. I swear to God.
It comes down to one saying. The saying that has crossed over not just the Raimiverse to the Webverse to the MCU. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben Parker is my number 3. Did not know that this character was modeled after Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, really?
I did not know that.
Yes.
Interesting.
Probably another top 10 of the greatest deaths in comic history. Kind of shaped, really pushed Peter into what he became as Spider-Man. But yeah, whether you're talking Cliff Robinson in the Raimiverse or you're talking Martin Sheen in ASMR, Cliff Robinson is just that speech that he gives, and then the back and forth that Peter's going through at the time, but Uncle Ben doesn't know, and then when he's just laying there after being shot, it's so heartbreaking. But such an important part, just as important as the death of Martha and Thomas Wayne. Gotta die. Sorry, you got to.
People gotta die.
Yep. So yeah,
I like the Punisher and disregard.
Well, that's a little different.
Well, because like
no,
I
it's
was
not different. You're right. Yeah, people got to die. It's fridging, right? You got to fridge somebody to inspire, spur the hero to become who they are.
Can't you just get pissed off enough to where you're just like, fuck it, I'm buying guns. Let's do this. You
could.
I wish there wasn't so much death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Stephanie, your number 2.
All right, my number 2. Well, speaking of legends, this is a character that was portrayed by an absolute legend. And as of yet, because I have not seen No Way Home, this is my favorite. Well, second, 1A and 1B. This is up there, only number 2 because of what's coming up soon. But it is Adrian Toomes, the Vulture. Michael Keaton in Homecoming is so unbelievably menacing. Think of that scene where Peter and Adrian are in the car. He's driving them to the party, and Adrian is letting him know, I know who you are. And if you do not stay out of my way, you are going to end up dead, basically, is what he's threatening. And the terror on Peter's face as Adrian is doing this. And he's also a villain that in the movie, you kind of sympathize with, because they were trying to make some money, with the cleanup of what happened after the Avengers, and Tony Stark gets to come in and make the money cleaning up the mess that he made. It's kind of like he's like the ultimate little guy kind of fighting against these big conglomerates. And so I empathize with him in that, I'm bleeding heart lefty, I guess you can call me, but it works so well. And I don't know if we're going to see him in this movie or not, but I would love to see him in this movie because it's Michael Keaton. You don't have to ask me twice if I want to see Michael Keaton in a movie. Of course I want to see Michael Keaton in a movie. It's awesome. So I'm going to go with Vulture.
When do you think he figured out Peter was Spidey, man?
In that car ride. If you
do you think it was
scene, yeah.
Do you think it was in a car ride, or do you think he had that inkling when he shook Peter's hand?
No.
Maybe a little. Because
you could see the fear on Parker's face.
Well, Parker knew who he was the whole time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that fear, because like Toomes was a smart man. He was a very smart man. So that's probably where he got the inkling. And then in the car ride, when he started asking, all of a sudden it's like, okay, Peter Parker.
The way he's just like a hand on the back of the seat, and when he's just like, I'll kill you. And I was just like, God damn.
Yeah.
Wait. Just like it was a little bit of like, this is my business. Mm-hmm. This is my daughter, like all rolled into one, like that father talk to the boyfriend, but at the same time, this is the villain to the hero kind of talk to, like, I'm gonna steal this shit, stay out of my way, I'll kill you. And
I'll kill you.
Have my daughter home by 11.
Yeah. Oh.
Make it 10:45. So there's my number 2. We're going to you, Jared, for your number 2.
I had already mentioned her, and I'd already made mention of it, but Black Cat.
Okay, nice. I was hoping someone put her on the list.
Yeah, Black Cat. There's that famous scene where she proposes to Spidey, and it throws off his spider senses, and he gets knocked down, and he's like, "Ow, my leg, my feelings." So I think it's kind of cool because like if a chick proposed to me and then like tried to take out my legs, I think I'd be a little bit more hurt in the pride. The concussion is maybe secondhand after my head knocks the concrete, but still. I don't know. It to me, it's like, because I found out like they dated for a minute. I'm not big into the comic scene. I'm more of like the video game kind of movie. I'm like, Dash, tell me the 3-hour story instead of having to spend 8 hours trying to reread. So I don't know. I think it's just kind of cool how she's like super obsessed with Parker. This totally hot thief is stalking Peter and trying to make him her, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But like that, I know it's like very stereotypical male, but like super hot girl, she's a thief. She's amazing as a superhero or anti-hero or villain, and she wants to marry you. I think I could try to like live with that for a little while.
Sounds like a Joss Whedon character.
Yeah.
She wants to ride his thorax.
Don't. Cool. Fuck it. Dash, save me from embarrassment, please.
Okay, number 2 for me. We're bringing it back around. Another one of Jared's picks already. This is Spidey Pool. Spider-Man and Deadpool. Just a great combination. Funny enough, so the first time that they were ever featured together was in 1997, but they never met.
Really?
This was a time that Deadpool went into a Spider-Man story.
Oh, yeah.
But they never met each other. They did not meet for the first time until 2006.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That recently? Wow.
Yep. Not only that, so they have, I mean, of course, they have this love-hate relationship and everything. It's really funny and stuff. But at one point, they have saved Christmas with the Rockettes and went ice skating together. Not only that, Deadpool and Spider-Man have a daughter. Where they are the fathers. This took place in no, this is genetically their daughter. This took place during a storyline with Mephisto, to where the DNA was taken from both Deadpool and Spider-Man and injected into this person who is now known as Itsy Bitsy. She is the genetic daughter of both Deadpool and Peter Parker.
That's kind of like how what's her name? Oh my God, Wolverine's
X-23.
X-23.
Yeah.
Thank you, X-23. How X-23 is genetically Wolverine's daughter, same sort of thing.
Yeah, I was going through research and I was like, what the fuck?
I love it. Deadpool and Spider-Man are gay daddies. I like it.
There you go. So yeah, my number 2, Spidey Pool.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Dash. So glad you brought that up.
What, Itsy Bitsy?
Yeah.
They're both two daddies. My Two Dads. It could be a new sitcom.
No, it's not. It's
wouldn't that be a fun sitcom? My Two Dads.
My Two Dads.
They did that as like a Disney Plus, kind of like how Hawkeye is legit just a ripoff of Die Hard. If they did Spidey Pool is My Two Dads.
My Two Dads.
As a Disney Plus show, that would just all be hilarious.
I think I think we should do a 3-way split, and then 33.3% goes to all of us, and that other 1% goes to something else. But yeah, I'm gonna call Disney tomorrow and be like, Disney, I have $1 billion idea, guys.
Yes.
Then like
$1 billion
in a suit and everything. Like, oh, that's funny. All right, before we get to our number 1, Stephanie, what's your honorable mention?
Well, my honorable mention is not a person we've seen in any of the movies, but it is a person we've seen behind all of the movies. This has been the producer or the executive producer of every single comic book movie, going all the way back to X-Men. He was an executive producer of all 3 of the Spider-Man Raimi films. He's executive producer of all of the X-Men films, this is executive producer of, and now, of course, he is the head honcho of the MCU, who is instrumental in bringing Spider-Man back into the MCU from Sony, brokering the deal between Sony and garnering the whole MCU universe as we know. It is our Lord and Savior, the man of the hat, Mr. Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not have this guy as an important Spider-Man character? This guy has been single-handedly you go back in his career, he actually started as a production assistant to Richard Donner on Superman. So he's been doing comic book movies for literally his entire career, trying so hard to get these characters that we love onto the screen as the iterations that we love, and parsing through the bullshit of Hollywood trying to downplay these characters that we love. He's the reason that Wolverine looked the way he did in the first X-Men, because they wanted to make him look totally different and downplay the feralness of Wolverine. He's like, no, Wolverine is this. You have to have this if you're going to have Wolverine. He's been fighting against the Hollywood machine to bring these characters to life for so long that I tip my hat to him. Thank you, Kevin Feige, for fighting the good fight, fighting the nerd fight to make Hollywood understand that you don't just get to take these characters by name and put some bullshit story behind them. These characters mean something to people. They mean a lot. They're people that we've read since we were little kids. They're people we've been watching their cartoons since we were little kids. They're archetypes. They're like commedia dell'arte. They're archetypes that mean something in the universe. And he's actually doing that in the movies. So Good on you, dude. Kevin
Hey,
Feige,
Dan.
give him a medal.
Didn't he like I'm almost like 100% positive there was a story just recently where Disney was like, fuck all of you. Just listen to what Feige has to say.
Basically, they put him in charge. Yeah. So they actually
Yeah.
reorged the whole organization to put all of Marvel, because for a while, the reason why the Daredevil shows and some of the TV shows, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever, are like not really in concert with the MCU is because they were under somebody else. Ike Perlmutter is his name. And Feige hated what he was doing. He took the Immortals. The Immortals was supposed to be a movie, an actual movie, and Perlmutter took that and made that awful Immortals television show with awesome, great actors, but absolute shit show of a show. And Kevin Feige's like, this is no.
Yeah, like
I'm leaving if this continues. I'm not dealing with this. And they reorg everything underneath him.
yeah, because like I know that like there was that thing where just like they would have to like they would always have these meetings where Feige was like, no, you have to do it this way. This is not the way you can't Hollywoodize it. You just cannot do that with these characters. We will tank. And like every time there was a hit because they'd listened to Feige, there was a big hit. They're like, oh, great. We could just do it this way now, right? Feige's like, no, you have to continue with the continuity. You have to keep doing it. And finally, Disney was like, this is God, and we have to listen to it. Yeah, this is
the way.
I will show you the way, brother.
Exactly.
So
he respects our intelligence. I mean, yeah, some people say the MCU films are a little formulaic here and there, but
they're the stories we've been told and love.
It's fine. He respects our intelligence to know that no, they're gonna know if I don't do this right. They're gonna know. And I'm gonna respect their intelligence. I'm gonna respect their characters that they love because I love these characters too. So man, love that dude. Love that dude. Heart times we love you 3000, Kevin Feige.
Got to work on the fire rate of the CZ Scorpion, though. That was bullshit.
Well, sure. He doesn't control everything. I mean, you know, he at least gets the characters right, though.
Yeah.
So there's my honorable mention. Jared, we're going to you for your honorable mention.
My honorable mention is Doctor Strange, actually, just because he takes over the fatherly role. I was going to say happy for a brief moment, but then I remember, like, you know, legitimately Doctor Strange does become Spidey's new mentor after, you know, Iron Man goes to the great Rainbow Beyond. So yeah,
gotta have a father figure.
Need a daddy.
Needs a daddy. That's probably not a great one to have, Doctor Strange. Somebody so I mean, he went from Tony Stark, who's reckless with science, to Doctor Strange, who's reckless with magic. So
well, he's reckless with magic apparently because this is not like the Strange we know and love. So, Dash, who's your honorable mention?
I only have one this time.
Oh, heaven forbid.
Don't get used to it. I'm sure we'll be back up to 70 honorable mentions next week. My honorable mention is the man who is responsible for revitalizing the Spider-Man, the Spider brand in comics. We have mentioned his name already once before. This is Sir Todd McFarlane. What he did with and it's weird that I bring this up because this is a Todd McFarlane Spawn as my honorable mention. I say that because the two have never met in the comic world until last August.
Wait, what?
It was not in a comic book issue. This was for a cover for Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide. This is the only time that it has been the two of them in the same frame, and it's literally Spawn sitting on top of a gargoyle and Spider-Man webbed up underneath it. That is it. But what McFarlane brought to the style of art and everything, it was just amazing. No pun intended. But with Spider-Man 1, one of the greatest covers for Spider-Man, in my opinion. Just the webbing everywhere with the spiders crawling on him and stuff. Very cool. Yeah.
Todd McFarlane, man. He's a genius.
Dude. Yeah.
That is a dope photo.
I know, right?
I just looked it up too. It looks really sweet.
So good. Literally, that was just for a price guide. Not even a comic book. Like,
I'm gonna have to buy that for my husband. Christmas present. Yay.
All right. number one.
Number one. All right. Well, I'm gonna be a basic B. I'm sorry. This is. I mean, we're gonna see him in No Way Home. He's acted by an incredible actor, the only possible actor I think who could possibly ever play him. Although we did see the female version of Doc Ock. This is Dr. Otto Octavius. He is my number one because Alfred Molina is an incredible actor. And what I remember the most about Spider-Man 2 is that horrific scene where they're trying to extract the arms off of him in the hospital. Yeah. That scene scared the flippin' bejesus out of me when I saw that in the theater. And the fact that, you know, the way that they did it originally is that they actually were puppets. There were people actually, you know, manipulating these arms. So like Alfred would have to work in concert with these puppeteers kind of going along. And now he's just kind of in a rig where he's just walking along. The idea of not having to walk yourself, you know, this sounds kind of interesting. Having these arms kind of walk for you is really cool. But again, he's a scientist and I love science. The scene where he's creating that sun, that self-sustaining sun, and he's using these arms to try to control this power source just looks so cool. I mean, I don't have to say much. He's a sweet ass character, and I'm so glad he's back in the movies. I hope Peter doesn't have to kill him. I mean, I don't know if he really died. I hope he does.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Spider-Man kills.
Kill them all. Kill them all.
Spider-Man Fs and Spider-Man kills. One of those two things will happen.
Oh, he's already been fucking. You know he has.
Has he?
Oh God, yes.
Him and Zendaya getting down.
Teenagers on a trip in separate hotel rooms. Ned has been the good bro, and left for a minute. So yes. I was a teenager once. I know what I'm doing.
Were you?
I was, maybe.
I was born a 30-year-old.
That's sad.
I know. I know. Made school very awkward. All right. So there's my number one. Jared, we're going to your number one.
William Dafoe's Goblin.
Yeah, gotta go.
It was so iconic. Just the schizophrenia that he had. It was just fantastic. I mean, creepy. I think it's so dope because that fight was one of the first kind of cool comic book fights in the little place that they were in. And I just thought it was so dope that when the jet board was coming behind Spidey and, you know, he's like, Peter, help me. And then he's like, die. And then he realizes it because he forgets Spidey has a Spidey sense. And he's just like, oh, we get the real sense of what the real Spidey sense is like. And then he just oh, I'll jump out of the way. And this is the first time his actions have real consequences. And of course it kills his best friend's dad. So
yeah.
Norman, I'm glad to see you back. I'm excited. Alex just texted me. He's still in the credits, and it started at 6:45. It is now 9:15.
Well, I just got a text from my friend Mark, who did finish seeing it. He is calling it the best of the new Spider-Man films. So
I have heard. I've
heard that as well.
I have heard that it is
no spoilers though.
The best Spider-Man movie, but I've also heard that it is the best comic book movie. And have heard the best movie of all time, but I think they were really pulling.
Well, that seems a bit much.
Yeah, but
the best movie of all time is, of course, The Lord of the Rings. Sorry, Dash, I had to do it. Hey, speaking of best movies of all time, should we get to your number one?
Absolutely.
Now that I've pissed you off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My number one, I'm super excited about. This is a man that shares the similar heartbeat as Peter Parker.
Okay.
Shares a common enemy. They live almost in the same city.
Okay.
This is a man who has been brought by Kevin Feige over from the Netflix universe into the MCU. We will see him as Charlie Cox. We have seen him as Ben Affleck. I love them both. I really do. This is one of my top 5 superheroes. This is Daredevil. The relationship between Daredevil and Spider-Man much like the relationship between Deadpool and Spider-Man. It is very, it's back and forth. They have had issues, but in the end, with Daredevil, Peter's the one who consoled Matt Murdock after the death of Karen Page, and that is what solidified their relationship. I fell in love with Daredevil not from Spider-Man comics. I fell in love with Daredevil backwards. I fell in love with Daredevil because of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, interesting. What?
Well, Ninja Turtles is a play on Daredevil. Daredevil's mentor's name is Stick. The Turtles' mentor is Splinter.
Right.
You have the hand. You have the foot.
Yeah, right.
So they are a play on Daredevil. And so that's how when I found that out, I was like, oh, so this is kind of like not original, like the Turtles, which I love. I love the Turtles. Eastman and Laird, just amazing geniuses in the films and the comics and the cartoons and all that stuff. But then I started looking into Daredevil, and then it was just like, oh my God, there's this world, and just like the story of Matt Murdock, and just great writing from people like Kevin Smith. What he was able to bring back the resurgence of Daredevil, and then I will even go as far as maybe not necessarily the Elektra movie, but I loved Daredevil. I did. I enjoyed Colin Farrell as Bullseye.
He's good.
I enjoyed Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin.
He's great as Kingpin.
Yeah.
Totally
the fight scene with the sprinklers going and the water and everything, it's just great scene. And then moving into the Netflix series with Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, it's incredible. The writing on that show, and then even going into the Punisher series, it's just top notch, A+. So yeah, my number one, Daredevil. I love it. This was super fun.
This is so nerdy. I loved
I
it.
saw the coolest, because I was gonna pick a Daredevil and Spider-Man, but I was like, no, that's very cliche.
Yeah.
And it was funny because
cliche.
I did call it. Yeah. No, I didn't call him cliche, but I should say mainstream then. Fine, mainstream.
It really
Basic
is.
B.
Yeah, but
like I said, it kind of goes along the same lines as Deadpool. When I think Deadpool, I think Spider-Man.
Yeah, you think Spider-Man
or Daredevil.
But like Daredevil is sitting kind of like front, because like it's in a panel, and Daredevil's sitting. He's kind of blacked out, and in the upper left you can see Spider-Man on like a spider web, and Daredevil's like, I didn't come alone. And you're like, motherfucker, yeah, right. You didn't come alone. Let's get you some Spidey, So it's kind of cool. I mean, yeah, like I like all your guys' picks. I'm not the biggest kind of comic guy. Blah. Like I tried to get nerdy with it, but it wasn't. I couldn't nerd out. I was distracted by that windstorm that we had because I decided to procrastinate.
That was quite a windstorm. Gotta get me white and nerdy. Sorry, I just bought tickets to see Weird Al, so I got Weird Al on the brain.
Really?
Yeah, he's coming to the State Theater in Minneapolis. You should come see him.
I stayed up till like 1 a.m. to watch one of his concerts when I was like 10.
Did you? Awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Love Al.
Fell asleep on the couch and my mom yelled at me.
All three of us are definitely being white and nerdy right now. I love it.
Yeah.
UHF is my shit.
I love UHF. That's a great movie.
My God, I love that movie. It's so dumb. But it's so good. I remember playing the mess out of what was the album that had like a surgeon and Jeopardy.
Eat It. Is it Eat It? Is it bad? I want to say
that was all on the same album. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember playing the mess out of that cassette. All righty. Well, that is our show today. Please make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Follow us on all of our social medias at SNHPOD. That's SNHPod on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Of course, right here on YouTube. Find our podcast on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And that's it.
I love you guys.
But I don't know.
Just remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
Don't forget it.
Next week.
We're doing a
top
review.
10 Christmas movies.
Oh, it's Christmas.
Oh, that's right.
Christmas time.
Alrighty.
Snowing.
It is snowing here in Minnesota.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
fuck.
70 degrees here. I'm just saying.
Shut
Josh,
your
you don't get to talk.
goddamn mouth.
I got shorts
get to talk.
on, no hoodie.
All right,
All right.
let's outro this bitch.
Yeah, I'm Dash.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Jared in the flock.
We will see y'all next week. Subscribe. We got
Hit
so
that
many shows
button.
coming out. Yeah, hit that button, hit the bell, hit all that shit. Peace
Hit
out,
follow
y'all.
on you. Bye.
Bye.
Cut the check.